Hello and welcome back to Crashout Queens, hosted by me, your host, I think it was r/Riley, and my co-host Brooke.
Hello.
And our subject for today, our one word, our one answer is graduation. Because, I was gonna say unfortunately, but fortunately, we're both graduating. Blah, 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 blah. I barely made it, but I just crossed the finish line.
Because they wouldn't do your credits in time.
Yep. So me and Brooke have a funny little story. Basically, I passed the entire course and did everything I was supposed to. But my college decided that my credit transfer from my previous academic, whatever the fuck, stint, if you want to call it that, wasn't going through on time. So my college told me I wasn't eligible to graduate, which then made me be like, what the fuck do you mean I'm not eligible to graduate? I completed everything. Yes, I am. So then I had to call the college and figure it out. And then eventually I got met with someone being like, oh yeah, no, don't worry. It's going through. And then I was like, no, you don't understand. I was told I'm ineligible to graduate. That's kind of a scary thing. You can't just tell people that and then tell me to calm down, because this is kind of all dependent on you people getting this done right, which you're not doing already. So what do you want me to do about that? And she was like, no, don't worry about it. I promise you you're going to graduate. I promise you you're going to graduate. So I went full Karen on this poor girl. Poor lady, and made her promise me that I was going to graduate, and then made her send me an extra email confirming I was going to graduate after my credit transfer was done. So if I show up tomorrow and those bitches don't have my diploma or my shit, I'm gonna lose my motherfucking mind.
I can't wait to be there, because I know that Mel will also probably lose it for you. And I think
Absolutely.
That will be beautiful.
Mel is one of our friends in the institution that is called college.
Oh yeah, she's like 20 years older than us, which is exactly how college friends should be.
Don't date her. Don't be mean. That's
I'm just saying, because it's
you.
kind of funny, because she sent us a Facebook meme the other day.
Yeah, she does. She does love her Facebook memes.
She loves her Facebook memes, and I thought it was hilarious that I was like, this is a friendship with someone.
You said that, but you love our friendship with Mel, so don't even try it.
I do. No, I do. We are unmotivated.
We are all unmotivated. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
It's gonna be great.
So what are your thoughts on graduation? How do you feel?
I feel pretty good, actually. I'm happy that I passed the first time through and I didn't drop any classes. My parents threatened me to not do that. I was so totally gonna drop modeling.
First year?
That last semester. No, that last
semester. Yeah, actually, context, if you didn't know, if you haven't seen any other podcast episode, hi, Brooke and Riley here, but also, we're animation students. So we take courses that consisted of 2D animation, 3D animation, and things like 3D modeling, as well as something called lighting and rendering, which is basically like CGI work. So that's the type of stuff that you would do in our coursework, and it was all torture, but some was more torture than others, especially lighting and rendering. That was a course that me and Brooke could give you an entire thesis about why we hated it.
Oh, but it's like, because, okay, context. You think going into animation, you'd just be learning animation. I was not prepared to be thrown into 3D modeling at all. But I do kind of like it after that last assignment that I did the scrap guitar with.
Yeah.
From Hi-Fi Rush. But that plane that our professor had us do had me on the floor in a ball, shaking and crying.
I never had an issue with any of the 3D modeling stuff, honestly. I was quite fine with it, because 3D modeling to me was very mindless. Granted, I didn't get good grades in 3D modeling, so don't take my words.
No, let's talk about second year modeling. Let's talk about second year modeling.
Yeah, I didn't use my brain. Yeah, I didn't use my brain.
So in second year for our first modeling class, it wasn't modeling yet. It was still in our 3D animation class, but our professor was also a modeler. So he wanted us to do some modeling. He wanted to touch on that before. And what he did was he had us model a shield. And
mine looks like a shield. I don't know what the problem is.
No. So there's this thing called topology in modeling. It's basically all of your faces and all of your stuff. What Riley did is make their shield all in one piece. And in modeling, it's generally good to make your things separate pieces. The problem was that Riley did it all in one piece, and the topology was so bad they wouldn't even let our professor see it, because it would have given him a heart attack. I'm telling you right now, he would have had a heart attack if he saw that.
And coincidentally, the file's lost, so we'll never know whether any of this is true or not. So coincidentally,
the file's not lost. I remember you out loud going, "I just deleted it. I just deleted it."
Shocker, because I remember it being lost to time. I don't know. They wiped those
Mm-hmm.
computers and we'll never find it again. So I
Uh-huh.
suppose it's my word against yours, and he said, she said,
Uh-huh.
and simply put, it sounds like you're trying to strum up some fairy tales and
I don't know what you're
bullshit.
talking about, but that shield, I witnessed it with my own 4 eyes, and my own 4 eyes, and I have no words for it. But I'm happy we're graduating.
You're
Yippee!
happy? Do you feel pride?
Yeah. I am pretty proud of myself for going through college.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think not to be that bitch, I think my mental illness really has fucked me long term. Because truly, I don't have pride in anything that I do ever. Like, whenever I complete a project, I have never felt pride in my life towards anything that I've done. I'm pretty sure it has to do with bipolar, and I'm pretty sure bipolar has a big thing to do with it. And it's so funny because, like, everyone around me is so happy and so, like, woo, graduation, yippee, like, it's a big deal. To me, this is just, like, literally an ends to a means. I don't know if that's, like, I think it's
No, I
strange
get
and I think
that.
it's out there, but for me, I completely am just like, yes, I am graduating, but now I need to go find a job and I need to go do this and I need to go do that and I need to make money and I need to be able to finance myself now, and there's no like training wheels, right? Like, we're losing our
Yeah.
training wheels. We're finally leaving an educational aspect of our life behind. We will never, well, I assume you will
You
never go
can go
back to
back.
education. I will never go back to education again, personally. I'm pretty confident in
Maybe
that.
I don't know what I'd go back for is the thing.
I'd go back if I could do 3D animation and just complete it all the way around, but it would only be 3D animation and it'd be like a course like that.
Like
Like,
what
if I could
they're
find,
doing in Ireland.
yeah, but they're doing 2D.
Yeah, for context, for the listeners, our institution that we just graduated
Attended.
from, that we attended, was offering us animation students a like 4th year in quotes at a college in Ireland for our bachelor's degree in art, but it was only focused on 2D animation, which
Which
unfortunately
me and
me and
Brooke
Riley,
literally can't do.
it's not that we can't do it, it's just that we struggle with it a bit.
That's generous. I would say
I
arguably
can't make
we
a
can't
rake to
do
save
it.
my life.
I would say
I can't make
arguably
a
there are
rake.
fundamentals there that we are both lacking, and that causes us to be unable to do 2D animation.
Our poor professor.
Yeah, that was the worst part. We have all of our professors we did love, but there were some subjects with this program, which is like really funny and it's like interesting because comparatively to other programs, when you think about college and stuff, and this is it's entirely true, but most of the stuff you do in college and in university is at least somewhat geared towards your genuine, like, what you're going to do, basically, what you want to do. So, like, for example, I was a poli-sci major before I was a 2D, 3D animator. And what I did was a lot of stuff centered around politics. I did world politics, I did municipal politics, I did provincial politics, which, if you don't know, is state politics for Americans listening and or anyone else that uses states over provinces. And I did a lot of stuff like that. And then there was things like writing courses you would have to take, or like you'd have to take the social sciences. So you'd have to take like socioeconomics and economics in general, and like things like that, that would be all basically catered towards the things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of like what you would have to do. In this program, it was very different where you go into that and you basically assume you're going to do like what you want to do, which is like we went into it with the assumption that we were all going to come out of it as 2D animators. It was 2D/3D, but we did not know how like wide that range was going to be. And that range was in fact wide, so much so that even our professors have said that like they believe the course is the hardest course to be taught at that college. It's the hardest diploma to get at that college, which I would honestly stand by
Yeah,
because
no,
it's such
because
a
for
wide
context,
ranging.
we
Mm-hmm.
started with 42 people in our first year of college, and by the end of
Yes,
3rd year, there are only 13 of us graduating.
that is it. We have less than 50% of our crew graduating, and that's not because like that's not even switching majors or stuff.
It's just,
That's
yeah,
either dropouts or people who like literally
who
have
failed out
fallen
too, yeah.
behind, failed out. And failing was huge. There are so many people that have failed a course throughout the way or have had to like retake a course throughout the way. It's a huge thing to fail a class. It's a very overwhelming class. The biggest thing why I think it's like so difficult, especially for college students, is because like in high school really doesn't help you for a program like us because there's such thing as cramming in high school, and I think every college student, university student knows
Mhm.
what cramming is. I would hope you know. If you don't know what cramming is, it's where basically like you stay up the night before, or it can be a few nights before, whatever. You stay up basically all night and you study nonstop and you get all your studying done, and then you hope you ace the exam. Obviously, it's not a found
Right.
science, but
Yeah.
cramming is a huge thing that all college and university students do. The thing with an animation and 3D animation program is it's all project based, and you can't just do that. You can't cram in one night. Trust and believe, lots of people in our program
Oh,
tried, including me. I tried
I did
sometimes.
it for the entirety of first year. I did it, but then I kind of had to smarten up in second year and realize
You
I
were
couldn't do it.
forced to smarten up, whereas other programs would not force you to smarten up nearly as much as this one did. I would argue 100% some programs would like teach you to like do things ahead of time, but this program literally taught you like you should be starting work on the project the day you are assigned it, and if you're not, you're already behind. There was no such thing in our program as being ahead. That's actually the takeaway. At no point were you ever ahead. You were just simply better off than being behind. There was never
Mhm.
such thing as being ahead.
No, you could never be ahead because you never even had the next assignment for a class
No.
until we finished the
Yep.
deadline for the next one, like that one.
Yeah, and all of our assignments
Yeah.
were probably 4-week-long assignments that were like over a month long or a month long, in which you would have
At
to
the
like
end, yeah.
model something, animate something, do something with CGI. You'd have to do something along those lines. Do something in fucking After Effects. I fucking hate After Effects. Adobe, fuck you and all your
We can
scam
go all
products.
day about our Adobe hate. We can go all day
Fuck
about our
Adobe and their
hate.
scamming of products. Unless they want to sponsor us, in which case I love Adobe. It's my favorite software to use ever.
If they want to give me a free Adobe subscription for life, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
But
If they want to sponsor the podcast one day, we love Adobe. We've always been Adobe's biggest fans,
oh my
famously.
god, I didn't rate them bad on that one quiz at all. No, don't worry, guys.
So what else is there to say about Graduation other than it was like the best album ever released?
Yeah,
I've had that joke locked in the chamber
you
for
know
so
what?
long waiting
I
to use it.
I think it's funny because this will actually be your first graduation since elementary school, right?
So I
You
graduated high
didn't have
school.
well, no, but you didn't get to
Oh yeah, no. So
go.
I guess that's true.
That's what I
Actually,
mean.
that's actually
That's
true.
what I
So
mean.
I didn't actually
This is
graduate
lucky
high
for
school
you.
because I graduated during COVID. So I had no ceremony and no nothing. You're right now that you
That's
mention
what I
it.
mean. Like this is your first ceremony since grade 8.
Wow, you're so right. Actually, that actually
Isn't
does put
that
things into
yeah.
perspective.
Like
Huh.
I think that's great for you because I had my high school one.
I wish I cared.
Yeah.
I want to.
One of our classmates who's a year older than me and a year younger than Riley, so between us, she was so mad
At the
that I got to have a
graduation.
prom, that
Yeah.
I got to have a prom and a
Mm-hmm.
graduation because she didn't get it.
Yeah. I was actually really
Love
happy about the
her.
prom because I had no idea what I was going to do for my prom because obviously I was considering going in drag, but also considering going and not drag and da-da-da-da, and I hadn't picked out a dress, and everyone had picked out their dress, and thank God it ended up happening because all my decisions got decided for me, and I didn't have to return anything or figure out, just have a prom dress for the rest of my life that I never got to wear. Because I know a lot of people that just have a prom dress now for the rest of their lives that they just never got to wear.
Yeah, my brother never had to do that. Yeah,
So I was
because he's
quite
the same
happy with
age.
it. I was quite happy with the outcome of my prom. But yeah, so the topic of
Um,
graduation. I'm just trying to think of what else we can talk about when it comes to graduation.
because I thought we were gonna do this after we graduated. That's why I said it last podcast that we would have been graduated by now.
Yeah, well, you insisted on recording
Yeah,
tonight. That's not.
I really didn't. I said
I
I'm
was
free
literally like, let's push it to
Tuesday.
Friday. I was literally like, let's push it to Friday. And then you kept being like, what about Tuesday? What about Tuesday? What about Tuesday?
Let me scroll up, brothers. I said you can take your time with your topics. I literally said that.
Yeah, Brooke's carrying on the topics this week because I have nothing. So that's why I'm really clutching to graduation because this
You're
is
not
all I
gonna
have.
you're not gonna do the Zelda thing that I asked
I
you to?
am, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we're going to have lots to crash out about. I have lots to crash out about. Trust me, the podcast namesake is here. I've got our crash out topics for sure. And actually, I think going through my music recap will probably take up some time, so I'm not too worried about it.
I have like two-ish like topics that are like both
Yeah, but they're
the same.
big. But they're big topics.
They're not like we don't have to make them big topics because like
I'm fine
I
with
didn't
them
really
being big.
do much research. So like my first topic of the day is
So I do feel like
let's
we
go back
have
in
to.
time.
I do feel like we have to at least acknowledge Kanye's album Graduation. I feel like it's so hard to not talk about it. Have you ever
listen to
heard?
Kanye West.
So I was
I've
gonna
never
say,
listened to
I have
Kanye
never
West.
heard to a single song willingly. I'm sure I have heard a song off of the Graduation album. I'm sure about that. I'm sure somewhere along the lines I did.
I've
But I have never
yeah,
once gone out of my way to listen to a Kanye song. Except for
I've
Carnival. I've
never
listened to Carnival before. Because I really like the
like
intro to Carnival, but he's a
the only
Nazi
time
now.
I've heard a Kanye song is either on the radio or like on my For You page
On TikTok.
on apps, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've never willingly gone like, let's put on this song by Kanye West. Like I've never done
Yeah.
that.
So I think it's pretty safe to say that we don't support Kanye West. Well, Brooke does. Famously, Brooke is also a Nazi.
Famously, you
Oh.
can't say that in this day and age. We can joke all we want about being there on the 6th of January.
But that one's too far. That
But let's not
that
push
one's
it a little
leaning.
bit.
Okay, we push that
That
one.
one's
Push
leaning a
that one
little
too
bit.
far. Push that one too far.
It's leaning a little bit.
Yeah, we're giving Ethan Klein more ammo. We already called him a psychopath the other time, and then I say that. Oh,
He's still gonna
fuck.
call me a waiting room no matter what.
Yeah, you're not safe from him. You're not safe from him. How many episodes can we mention Ethan Klein? But yeah, I
We
think
do it
both of
every
us.
week.
I think both of us can say that we don't endorse Kanye West, nor do we like him. I didn't like any of his stuff to begin with, honestly. Can I say that? Is this a safe
Honestly,
place? I didn't
yeah.
give a fuck about Kanye West's original stuff.
No,
I get that he's
honestly.
important for the culture and stuff, but like I always hated the argument of like, but he made Graduation. I always hated that so
I
much of
didn't even
like
hear it. Like I've never even heard it.
so the argument for Kanye West and why he's like it's basically the argument is people like trying to separate the art from the artist, which like don't get me wrong, I think that it's an interesting thing to separate the art from the artist, but I think what it comes down to when it comes to the conversation of separating the art from the artist is you have to understand like when there's a limit to that. Sometimes we cannot separate the art from the artist anymore. Sometimes the artist has I think a good example of this is like J.K. Rowling. I think you cannot ethically support anything Harry Potter anymore after what J.K. Rowling has done, what she has said, the things in legislation in which she has taken part in. I think there is no way in which you can support J.K. Rowling truly in my heart of hearts and still say it's separating the art from the artist. I think at that point you are not separating the art from the artist. You are simply helping out a bigot, and that is a fact. I think you can't get past that, and there's no way past that. And I think the same argument applies to Kanye, because basically the argument for Kanye is that like he's terrible, he's awful, he's this, he's that, but he made Graduation, and that's basically what people say is it's like, but he made Graduation. And so that's the argument, because Graduation is
like
such an important album to the culture, which makes sense to me, but like Kanye is a crazy Nazi, so maybe we should not make excuses for a crazy Nazi.
Exactly. Like that shirt that he was selling on his website that it just had the swastika on it.
I actually don't know what shirt he was selling on his website. I never saw it.
He was selling it for like $20 and it sold. Like people were
Isn't
buying
that
it.
so horrifying?
Yeah.
Isn't that so horrifying to think that people are
horrible, yeah.
actually like that?
People would actually go.
I think that's all we got on Graduation. I think. Thank you to our professors if they ever see this, by the way.
Honestly.
You know who you are. We won't drop names.
You know who you are. I wish we had that one for life drawing for all 3 years, but I digress.
Yeah, that was another. Oh, we never even talked about life drawing, which is funny.
Yeah, life drawing is another class that you do in the animation 2D course.
And if you don't know what life drawing is, it's basically you have a person stand up in front of you. They're supposed to be naked, but because, politics and laws and stuff, they can't be naked anymore. So
I don't even know. It might just be the comfort level of the model, because our one model always had her bra off. So
that's because they were non-binary, so they were allowed to.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that was because they were non-binary, so they were allowed to. At least I believe that's why. I kept I know kept saying they about them.
Wow,
so.
we went all this way without saying a name of a professor.
Oh fuck! It's a first name. I'll bleep it. I'll bleep it. I can bleep it. I'll pay attention to it after. Fuck me.
Okay.
I don't even like that guy.
Oh, you can't say that because we're talking about it in the context of life drawing. What if he sees this?
I know. I'm kidding. He's on my references. I clearly didn't dislike him that much.
Yeah. He gave us gifts at the end of
which was sick.
I got a little Ivysaur statue and some.
Oh, you got it right finally.
Yeah, I finally got it right. Kept saying like what Bulbasaur or whatever.
Kept calling it Bulbasaur, which was disheartening and hateful
to
say. So, what's your first topic?
We're gonna talk and touch on some things from TikTok in the 2020s.
In locks. So
We're
actually, fun
in and
fact,
we're
I
lost.
wasn't on TikTok in the 2020s. I was one of the people
You were?
who
Oh yeah,
I was one
because
of
you
the
said
people
you were
who
online in high school or whatever.
No, that wasn't even it. It was more so I mean, I was always pretty much anti-online growing up in high school and stuff. I was pretty not online. But what another thing was is TikTok. I was one of the people. I was a normie, so I was like, TikTok is weird. It's only for like dances and weird people. So I didn't go on TikTok because I thought it was so weird.
You,
I was one of the people who was
you're
like,
telling
TikTok
me
is strange. But I loved
you're telling me
Vine.
you didn't experience the furry versus
Nope.
gamer
No, I heard
war?
about it
Oh
after the fact. No, I heard about it after the
that's
fact.
crazy. I was there. I
Which
think I
side were
actually
you on?
oh, I was on the gamer side. Let's be for real.
Oh, that's the wrong side. Historically, that's the wrong side.
Historically, actually, they did come together in the end, I think.
Oh, we made peace. Yeah, but during
Yeah.
the war, the furries
Oh,
were the
but
most
during the war, I
wronged.
was there.
During the war, the gamers were the Nazis. You guys were the Axis.
Bro, it was a TikTok thing. And it was
And
funny
I'm
because
saying
TikTok.
y'all were the Axis and they were the Allies.
Let's talk about how TikTok is so vastly different from how it was in 2020. Like, it's insane looking back, actually, and like
Mm-hmm.
seeing like compilation videos from 2020 and seeing people like the TikToks that I've seen from 2020 and going, that would never show up on my For You page in this day and age. 5 years
I think
later.
it's because of overconsumption. It's overconsumption and it's the gluttony and greed of it all. We've just like
I do miss the
oversaturated
niche.
it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
niche TikTok stuff. Like you still get it sometimes, like with the profile picture cults, like the hiccup profile picture cult, and like like all the like let's change your profile picture to this or like whatever. But it
Mm-hmm.
always dies out way too fast. Like the furry
It
versus gamer war went on for a
ages.
long time, and I think that's
Yeah.
back when we still had an attention span.
TikTok has most certainly killed attention spans, which we say as
Honestly,
as we're making a
as
fucking
we're
podcast. By the way,
Mhm.
isn't that divine comedy?
But let's take a trip back to 2020-ish.
Take me back.
Let's talk about the Wonderland system and faking DID on TikTok.
So I've heard of. I don't know much about the Wonderland system, but I've
Yeah.
heard of them.
So DID is basically it's called dissociative identity disorder, and it's basically like you have like you're split up into like multiple like you have
Yeah.
multiple personality, like they used to call it multiple personality disorder, but they can't
Hmm.
you can't call it anymore because it's offensive or something like that. I can't remember why. But it describes it like kind of like because it's like you have multiple personalities and like you switch between them. They're called alters, right?
Hmm.
And I don't really know how to describe it because I don't have it. Gonna be so for real.
To
I
my
don't have it.
understanding, it's like you have multiple people living inside of one body, basically, and
Yeah.
they can span
Anthony
from
Padilla
having
has a good
being
video.
Yeah, and it can
The guy from
span from
Sauce.
being multiple genders to multiple
Ages.
sexualities to multiple ages. There are like small children alters, there are like fully grown alters, there are older alters. The alters can change from like very vastly different amounts. I don't know if this is true or not, but I know that
Mhm.
famously there have been clips of people being like, my one alter is black, so he can say the N word. That I
Oh,
feel like
that's
that
certainly
is
something.
certainly, I don't think, representative of all people with DID. I think the biggest thing with
No.
DID is the biggest thing when it comes to DID and why we're being sensitive is because it's like every other mental illness. It has always been weaponized. As someone with bipolar, trust me, I have the Kanye West disease, so I already know there's a fucking target on my back at all fucking times. So it's more so that like the worst case scenario is not the average person. Most of these people are all very normal functioning adults who don't like act up. A great example is like people will think of like the movie Split when it comes to this disorder, but that movie is
And
nothing
Split is like
close.
so horrible for it
Yeah.
too.
That movie is nothing like what it's like. You don't like have a serial killer within you that's gonna like take control and like murder people. That's not the truth. It's just that like you have different personalities that have like, for example, just different interests. Maybe like one of them just likes to fucking crochet and the other one likes to watch anime. And that's literally like the difference between the alters. And that's like kind of
Yeah.
how it works. It's just like people with different interests. It's
Like
like
they're
you
different
and me.
people. Yeah, like they're different people. They have different names. They have different likes and dislikes and like.
Think of me and Brooke
And
as a
so
system. We're
we
the
are
two
not a system.
alters. We're the
We
two
are
alters.
not a system. Okay, let's
One of us has
so
a license,
basically
one of us doesn't. You can drive when
one of us Yeah, I
I
could
wonder
drive.
how that works.
I feel like at that point, like, they just don't drive then, right? Like I feel like
No, they definitely
because
do. I know they do.
maybe they think that like since it's like the same body that like
What happens when the child alter pops in
I
mid-drive?
just think that they don't. Oh, I don't think that happens. Like I feel like it happens like when they know that they
When they're
can.
more
I don't
within
know.
control? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like I feel like driving is like I feel like
If
they
you
don't clock
couldn't
out.
tell, we are
Undereducated and it shouldn't be
educated
disgusting.
and should not be taken as an educator on
Yeah.
DID. Neither of us are
But
here to tell you what DID is, how to treat it, or give you
don't
advice
listen to
on
us.
what
Yeah.
DID is. We're trying our best to give you a general understanding of the mental illness as our best understanding, so we can talk about this specific case and scenario.
Yeah. So basically,
Oh, am I boring you? I'll kill
no, no,
myself
no.
then.
Sorry. I woke up to get us Conan tickets today, guys. I woke up to get us Conan Gray tickets this morning in the pre-sale because we're
Seth,
big.
you know where we'll be.
Don't tell people where we'll be. Don't ever give your location out on the internet, guys. Please, internet safety. Oh my god. Uh,
So the Wonderland system, you were
the
saying?
Wonderland system. So back then, it was this account of this person. I don't even remember their name, which is crazy. I didn't really do much research, but I do have like my memory of
Okay.
seeing. I remember seeing this account. This is back when I guess you weren't even on TikTok because
Yeah, no, heard about it in past tense.
basically the Wonderland system was this person, and they basically claimed that they had over 200 altars in their system. Um, and like they did like it's a meme now. People have memed it. It's
Mhm. I've seen the
it's basically
memes.
their introduction where like they introduce each altar in like a different like voice and a way of speaking.
Hmm.
And I think one of them was named Bunny because I remember so vividly going, "Hi, my name's Bunny," and like I remember there was this one really edgy one I can't remember the name of, but I remember it being so funny.
Hmm.
But the Wonderland system, everybody started like going, dude, like you can't be faking DID up on the internet. Like you like this can't happen. Like like people are diagnosed with this. This isn't cool. And
What's
like
also important to kind of note is that there was a huge amount of people faking DID on the internet at the time,
yeah,
which is
we're gonna
also
get we're gonna get
important
into
to.
that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I have another little tangent
Oh,
to go on
okay, okay,
later
okay.
because I saw something today about that.
Oh God.
So the Wonderland system, basically, if you weren't already following them, that's too damn bad because they privated their account. And I think people were
Hmm.
like doing Hunger Games with like the
The
with like the
altars.
altars. People are like, the Hunger Games. It's called Brand Stealer, like whatever. But you put basically like names into the Hunger Games system,
We
and
should do
it
that for a podcast
RNGs.
episode.
Oh, that's good.
Just do that
Put
for a
fictional
podcast
characters. We
episode.
did that. We've done this before with fictional characters that we like in our classmates
Yeah.
and shoved them into the arena together. I don't even remember who came out on
We did
top, but I
it
remember
with
we were
and we did it
laughing
with
very hard.
streamers and YouTubers as well. Me and Grace did it
Oh,
first
yes,
year
we
with streamers
did.
and YouTubers.
Oh, that's crazy. But basically, at some point, the Wonderland system claimed that there was and basically, we talked about shifting last week.
Yes, we
Um,
did.
but so
Watch the
basically, the
previous
Wonderland
podcast
system,
for shifting.
the Wonderland, yeah. So he was basically claiming that he could go into this other world in his mind where all of the altars lived, and like he kept claiming that it was like a real place. Like I can go there, and he was like describing it too. It was like red and like kind of barren in places, but like everybody like lived there, like every altar or something. Like
Hmm.
I don't know if they're still posting to this day and still claiming that they have DID to this day, but it's pretty well known that they're faking it, I'm pretty sure.
So you
Cause
know
like
what's
I
so
remember
funny about that
yeah,
though? So they're
yeah.
faking this mental illness, but I can promise you they have a mental illness. Like this isn't something a
Oh,
mentally well person
absolutely.
does, which is just so
No, no, no,
funny.
no, this is
It's
not
so funny to me to be like, I'm gonna fake this mental illness and not just like go figure out what you actually have, because you clearly do have something Take it
Yeah.
from me, queen. You figure it the fuck out and go get it checked out. Because there's something there. You don't make up a whole DID alter system with 200 fucking personalities and a fucking goddamn Mario Kart track with all of them playing on it
Damn.
and not have some sort of mental illness.
Who's pumped for new Mario Kart, by the way?
Dude, but I'm not buying that new fucking Switch.
Oh no, my
You're
friend's
gonna
buying
catch
it.
me.
So.
You're gonna catch me fucking dead buying that new fucking
Oh,
Switch.
absolutely. Enigma Bazaar found dead in Chicago.
The only way I would buy it is if I started making money off of streaming and I could stream it.
Yeah. But anyway, you can't stream Nintendo games though. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Oh,
You
you
absolutely
can't
can.
upload like I don't know, but anyway, let's delve deeper into faking BID on the internet. Because I just saw a post today on my Twitter timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it Twitter. It is Twitter to me.
It's absolutely Twitter. If you think it's X, get the fuck out. We don't need the viewers.
Get the
We
fuck
don't
out.
need the viewers. We really
We're
don't
just doing
need them
this for
that
fun,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, this is our entertainment. Leave stat.
So there was a tweet, and it was a tiny tweet, and I was almost gonna skip over it, and it just said, "I bet faking D&D Dungeons and
You're
Dragons
pilled.
my build. I bet faking DID in 2020 was so fun."
You know what? That's so right, though. I bet it was.
I'm sure it was.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that one
Yeah.
picture, on Twitter where it's the girl being like, it's the girl tweeting out something controversial and then putting the phone up to her pussy, and it's like making a vibrator. That's what faking DID must have felt like.
Because I went into the comments and there were people that were claiming that they would fake it and then threaten suicide.
All right, we're back. As you were saying,
We're back. My mother came in. So basically they were threatening like self-harm and like suicide to their friends and then claiming that their alter did it all while they were faking DID.
lovely.
Which is like, I don't understand how like
Very scene kid
people-
energy.
like I don't understand how people fake doing stuff like that. And they were like, it's honestly because 2020 was a bad place for group chats. I'm gonna be so for real with you.
2020 was a terrible
was-
place to be a Discord group chat member.
Honestly, it was horrible. Like especially with the rise of the Dream SMP. We can talk about the Dream SMP all day too.
We will have to make a podcast episode where you just do the Dream SMP because you can probably make a whole podcast out of that.
Because the problem is that I never even watched the Dream SMP, and people think
Yeah.
I did, which
Well,
is insane.
you give out Dream fan energy in the nicest way possible.
I hate Dream actually. I don't like that guy.
I don't think many people do nowadays.
Oh, you'd be surprised. There's still Wilbur Soot fans up on my For You page.
Yeah.
You know, the Brighton Biter?
You can't see the face I'm making, but it's not one of understanding and confidence.
So people, because I think he's from Brighton, so people started calling him the Brighton Biter because he bit his girlfriend like multiple times without her consent.
Brighton? Isn't
Hard.
Brighton in the UK?
Wilbur Soot is British.
I'm
talking about
talking
Wilbur
about
Soot.
Dream this whole time.
I literally said no. Wilbur Soot fans are still mad because Wilbur Soot was part of the Dream SMP,
Yes.
and most of the Dream SMP is hated at this point for what they've
Correct.
done. It was very problematic.
Correct.
Very problematic SMP. But like in the comments, people of this Twitter post, people were just like going, "Oh yeah," I was like, and I think that it's crazy that you can just up and admit that you did something that actively affected a community of people that are actively like going through a medical diagnosis with DID.
And are widely persecuted for
hard.
it.
Yeah, it made it so hard to get people diagnosed after like 5 million started faking it.
Yeah.
You know, because then everybody would just claim that you're faking it, even if you weren't.
Yeah.
Same with Tourette's on TikTok too.
Yes,
If you
Tourette's was a
about
big
that.
one. Tourette's
That
was a
one
big
That
one.
one, I think DID was more of a niche thing.
Tourette's
but
got mega viral to
Tourette's-
fake.
Got mega, especially with this one account called Ticks and Roses. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I think I found that one. I think that was one of the ones
Yeah.
that came across my feed.
Because she was faking it the entire time, and like her family came out and was like, "We don't know why she's doing this. The only thing that she's been diagnosed with is Huntington's disease. I think that's the thing.
Mhm.
And like this and this." And she uploaded a fake document that said she was diagnosed with Tourette's, and you could tell it was fake because she listed PTSD twice, and also on a medical document they wouldn't say it was PTSD. They would call it by its like actual name. You know.
And isn't And I could be incorrect. Isn't Tourette's genetics? You can't get it from traumatic.
I don't know.
I believe Tourette's is one of the ones that you don't. I don't think you can develop Tourette's externally. It's something you have to have. I know bipolar is.
I don't know much about like these disorders. Like I've said, like don't
Yeah.
take my word at face value, but we do know for a fact that Tix and Roses was faking.
Yeah.
And it was just a big thing. Like I actually knew a girl. It was my friend's friend. My friend moved away and went to live in a different, I don't know if it's a city or a town, but I don't care.
Yeah, your boyfriend
'Cause
from
it's
another
so
school.
yeah, no, it's in out in the county. It's kind of confusing if something's a city or a town. I'm gonna be so real with you. Um, but she moved away and she made this new friend, and she kept saying that this friend had DID.
Oh,
Girl, she did not. She did not.
as the medical professional.
Like no, because it was just so like she was just so. She came from a bad.
Mm,
I say it like she's a dog or something, but she didn't have a good like
yeah.
life at home. So I can see why she was doing stuff like that. But yeah, I knew someone in real life that was doing that, and I didn't know anyone that was faking Tourette's, but it
No, I
was
never knew anyone who faked Tourette's or DID or anything like that.
like I think
I used to think
at
I
the
had
end of the
multiple
day,
personalities once upon a time.
really?
Yeah, because my mania, because when you have things like bipolar, you
Mm,
feel like a different person when you're manic, and you feel like a different person when you're
yeah,
depressed, and you feel like a different person when you're normal. So I actually truly thought that I had multiple personality disorder for the longest time because I didn't realize it was like it was a me. It was just manic. It was a manic version of myself and a depressed version of myself, and they were always like fighting back and forth for which one would win. Because being unmedicated for 22 years of your life, you wouldn't believe you come up with random ass coping mechanisms that you think work, but probably don't. So I actually was under the impression
yeah,
that I had it for the longest time. In high school, I thought I had it. I was sure. I was certain.
so certain.
But
I was
lo and
yeah.
behold, here I am.
You're here and you're fine. You beep
Not
beep
with the
beep.
well, I wouldn't say fine. No
Well,
one
yeah,
said
that's why I
no
cut
one
myself
once
off after.
described me as fine.
No.
No one once did that.
Oh yeah. No man has ever said that you were fine. Shit. No.
That's simply not true. How dare you? Lots of men have said I am fine shit. Back the
I
fuck
don't.
up, bitch.
Where's the receipts? Where's the receipts? Put them on the screen.
Grabbing the phone, pulling them up right now.
Where's the guy that said that you were the Mikasa to his Eren?
That's true. Did happen.
Where's that guy?
Did
Where's that
happen. I
guy?
never talked to him again because he was crazy.
Yeah.
Because he was crazy.
He wants me to wait at a tree for the rest of my life after I cut off his head type shit.
Type shit. He wants me to cut his head off. Type shit. Like
And
a
wait under a
praying,
tree
like
for
a
the rest of my
praying
life.
fucking mantis. He wants me to cut his head off and eat
Ugh,
it. The fuck. We
crazy.
can make a whole episode off of like texts I've gotten from guys. We can make a whole episode
From
off of that alone.
your Hinge and Tinder guys.
We could. Anyways, what's your
Yeah.
next topic?
It's kind of like not in the same vein, but like
Oh, okay.
it's so I like when I'm on YouTube.
Oh
I like
god.
to watch videos about controversial like people, and they call these people lol cows. Like
Tana Mojo. Oh no, not a
you know
lol
what I'm
cow. You're
talking?
not
You know
bringing
what
the unholy lol cows to my.
I just want to like cuz he is so weird to me. I think he's a little I think he's autistic. I think this guy,
Okay.
but that doesn't excuse what
Well,
he did because
most of
what
them
he
have
did is
some sort of
horrible.
undiagnosed
Yeah. We're
something.
not going to talk about Chris Chan though. We could talk about Chris Chan for an entire episode.
Yeah, no,
Um,
Christian needs his own episode, her own episode, I should say.
do we even know anymore?
I go by she because that's what I've last heard. So
Yeah. But this guy is called White Bowser.
I
Um,
recognize the name. I don't actually know anything about this person.
so I think he was up on TikTok. I can't really remember. I think making like those, you know, those cringy like emo like POV videos, like POV like a bad guy like you know like does this and like you know
Yeah.
those just sounds on TikTok.
Yes.
He would just make those like POV videos and like
Yes.
he had like a whole saga with like different characters and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same guy or if it was a different guy, but basically that was it. But then this guy started getting up and he had a job at a movie theater.
Okay.
And claims that him and his female coworker, who was 17 at the time, and he was older than that. I don't know how old exactly.
Mm-hmm.
In his 20s at least.
Okay. This
Says
is
that
getting
they
scary.
went for a high five or something, and he missed the high five and
Oh,
grabbed her
God.
chest.
How did I know that's where this was gonna go?
See, because the thing is that when you high five, you're not aiming towards someone's body, you're aiming away from it. At least so when you miss, you're not going to hit them, right? Like that's what I do with
I
a high
guess
five.
theoretically, if they both leaned out too far, then like it could have
No, see, because then
happened.
no, because it didn't happen because the girl went to the manager and told the
Oh.
manager what happened, and he got fired from the store.
Oh.
And he's basically been on
Well,
this
good
like
on the
whole tirade.
manager.
Yeah, good on the manager, honestly, for firing this guy. But he was also banned from the establishment after he kept coming back and like
Oh
trying to talk
God.
to that female coworker to sort everything
Oh
out.
God.
So he's been calling like every single like because the movie theater's a chain. It's not Cineplex or like Landmark or whatever. It's not like
Hmm.
a Canadian. It's an American thing. And
Cineplex
he
is a
basically
chain.
calls. Well, no, but I mean like I think Cineplex is not is it Canadian?
It's a good question. I don't know. I
I
just
don't
know.
because
I know
I
it's a
don't.
chain.
It's not like
And you
I know
said it's
Cineplex is
not
a
a
chain, but
chain.
no, I meant like it's not a Cineplex or like a Landmark. Like it's not that brand of um like movie theater. It's a
But it's
different
a
one.
chain of movie
But
theaters.
it's a chain of movie theaters. And like so he's been calling up like different movie theaters in like different states and like asking them like hypotheticals about like being in the movie theater and like being banned and like what you would do in like a situation with your coworkers. And it's
Okay.
so awkward
Creepy.
because he records the
Oh
call. I don't
God.
know if he has permission from the people he's recording on the call because in some states you need permission from the
Yeah, I
person,
was gonna say some are
right?
two consenting states, some are one consenting state, so it depends the
Yeah.
state, honestly. I assume
So
he probably
I
doesn't. I would assume he probably doesn't.
yeah, but it's like he's trying to be a detective or something and it's just not working. So a lot of people have been like trying to get him to confess to what he did and like trying to get him like on video
Yeah,
saying
egging him
stuff.
on.
Because that's what they do with I fear that's what people do with lol cows is that they just
Yeah.
egg them on more.
Lol cows can be some of the most like what's it called? I don't want to call them dangerous because honestly, more times than not, they're not dangerous at all.
Like
But
there's this one lol cow that I kind of feel bad for.
I feel bad for most lol cows because most lol cows are people who just have genuine things wrong with them or some sort of problem that is undiagnosed or untreated that people will take advantage of them and then egg them on to do bad things. Most lol cows are
Yeah,
taken advantage of by the internet, and it's like very, very easy to tell when a lol cow is being egged on by the internet and not being egged on by the internet.
because there's only like I don't. Is Trisha Paytas a lol cow technically?
I think
Back in
she
the
could have
day,
been considered one once upon a time.
but there's one that's like active right now. His online handle is World of T-shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes around and like people pay for him to just be drunk on stream
I've seen
all the time.
this. I've seen
And
this.
I feel like if like he had a proper support system, this wouldn't have happened to him, and he would have
Yes,
been an awesome
exactly.
guy.
That's what a lot of these lol cows come down to.
And I feel bad a little bit, but
Yep. Yep. Yeah, lolcows. I mean, we could make a whole
yeah,
episode on lolcows. We'll have to write down lolcows for another episode. We got lots
yeah,
of
because
episode topics for you. We aren't short on any episode
yay,
topics for you. We got Dream SMP,
you can take
lolcows,
you
Christian.
can take one of them.
No, no, no. I like you being more of like we have like a past
A
and
past
present, a
tense.
past and present like dynamic.
Okay,
I handle all
I
the modern day
suppose.
stuff. You handle all the present or the past stuff. I like that.
Yeah,
I think it works out for the dynamic. So is that
I
all
think
you had
that's
on our
all.
lolcows?
Yeah, unfortunately, because like I could talk about lolcows all day. I
Yeah,
fear.
but I fear we need a separate podcast for that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
have some topics here. I don't have a lot, and a lot of them are pretty quick and just like, hey, this is happening. So first off, happy Pride, everybody.
Be
Happy
who you
Pride.
are.
Which technically this will be our second episode into Pride, but we pre-record, so
Yeah, so now it's
this
the third.
is the no, this is the second. It'll only be the second. Our first one
No,
came
no,
out
no.
in
This is
May.
it's the third of the month.
Yes, we're already into Pride. Yeah, we're a little bit late on this. But it's whatever. We should have said Happy Pride last episode because we should have had the foresight to be like, oh, Pride's gonna be thingy.
I'm not
but
very good at foresight, girly.
no, I fear we're not. But Happy Pride, everybody. If you don't celebrate, I mean, theoretically, everyone should technically celebrate Pride. If you're a straight person, send your gay friends $20. They deserve it. That's what this is all about. It's Christmas for gay people.
Please send me $20. Please
send it over. We could use it.
You want to send me $20 so bad.
You're doing like that little like jingles, like little jingles
Yeah.
and jangles into the microphone.
I have a rubber band. Does that work?
I don't think that works as ASMR. Pride. What does pride mean to you, Brooke?
Like, in what way?
In any way? Does pride mean anything to you? Is it kind of just another month that goes by? Is it like
It's not another
any sort of
month that goes by.
sentimental thing to you? Is there anything sentimental about pride to you? Let's talk about pride.
Like, I don't like celebrate, but I'm happy that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I am there. I am in the LGBTs of Qs and pluses.
She's in there. She's somewhere.
I'm in there.
She's in the alphabet soup.
I actually hate soup.
Terrible take.
We can talk
Soup's
about that. We can
based.
talk about that.
Terrible take.
But like, it's nice that you get to celebrate being who you are, right? Lady Gaga's born this way.
You are. Yes, Lady Gaga's born this way. Be who you are.
Shout out Lady Gaga.
Insert joke. Insert share moment. Some share, bitch. Whatever the fuck.
That's a good share impression.
It's not. I think it's just a good Chad Michaels impression, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
my feelings on Pride are kind of the same. I have a very interesting dynamic with Pride because I'm very much like an out there, but also not out there. I step in and out of the closet so often with my own fucking sense of self and identity, and being on the gender spectrum doesn't exactly help matters because you're always battling the two demons of you have your sexuality and your gender. Which one
there's
is like?
two wolves inside of you.
There's two wolves inside of me that are always fighting. It's Pride's interesting, and I'm also not super into the like I hate all pride flags. I think they all look fucking ugly personally. So I always find it really hard to get excited for like pride merchandise and stuff because I think most of it comes out really fucking ugly. I actually did a stream, which you can watch on this channel, where I uploaded a video where I ranked a bunch of pride merchandise that was coming out this year.
I think it gets kind of confusing because every time there's like a new one that comes out, I'm like, what is that even?
See, I don't even mind that much because I think
I don't mind it that much, but I'm like, what is it?
Yeah,
Like,
I think we need to stop
colors-
having the expectation that, I think my biggest thing is stop having the expectation that we're all gonna know what's going on. I think we need to accept that, like, you know, not everyone needs to know what Arrow Ace is a good example. Not everyone needs to know what
Ouch.
pansexual means. Not everyone needs to know. But, like, you know what I mean? It's not personal. It's just that, like, people aren't gonna look up these things all the time and not know them. And, like, and I get it. I was always once, like, a person that, like, da-da-da-da. But, like, our job kind of as gay people is to help out people who are uninformed because no one's going to inform them except for us. Yes, they can go out and do their own work, and they should do that. But also, we have to create a loving community for both the uninformed and the informed. You can't have one without the other. So realistically, there needs to be a little bit more leeway, I think, in a lot of those situations.
Yeah. Yeah, happy Pride Month, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. Happy Pride. Now we are on to my little quick topics. So Bet came out. I watched.
Oh yes, yes, the live action
I
category or whatever.
watched
You
like
watched it?
4 episodes of it and got bored. Snooze fest. I was gonna make a whole media channel video on it, and I could not even finish it. It was so boring. It does not have the pull that Kakegurui has
I don't think you can do most of what Kakegurui does.
in live action.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
But you know
really
what's so funny? I think
convey-
Kakegurui is the one thing that you could do in live action. You would just have to work. You'd have to be way more artistic about it.
You'd have to put more work into it than
Yeah,
just what
you'd
happened on
have to be way
Netflix.
more artistic about it and really like work with like shots and angles and camera angles and like the type of shots you would get and like the type of motions that your actors would get. And like especially my biggest issue is like, I'm not gonna lie, Kakegurui is a horny as fuck anime. I'm not gonna lie. It's part of why I love the anime though, because it's a horny anime anime done right, because the horniness has to do with like the plot and the relevancy and the gambling itself. It's all intertwined to the story. It's not just like horniness for horniness sake. I love Kakegurui because it's like it's horny for a purpose, it's horny for a reason, and I love it because it's like the only time anime does horny right. And the biggest thing with the horniness in Kakegurui on fucking in Bet, the horniness in Bet is just cringe. It's just cringe. It's so
I think the
forced.
whole
It's so
show
boring.
is a bit cringe.
Yeah, it's not good. It's just not good. It wasn't good. I don't think I can finish it. I was really gung-ho about finishing it, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to. I'm really not sure I'm
Like,
going to be able to.
I liked the one clip on TikTok, spoilers, where they outed the one guy that likes collecting nails as being like a hunter, like a
Yeah,
wildlife hunter before he joined
because
the
he's a
school and said he was a
vegan.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious how like he put on like this voice and he was like, "I'm alpha whatever and
Yeah.
I just killed this." And I was like, that's actually kind of fire of her to
Yeah.
put that up there on the screen.
But you know what the worst part about that was? One of the best scenes in Kakegurui, because it's like so toe curling in the worst way possible, like you hate watching it, is when
Yeah.
that girl bites her own nails off out of frustration. Because the whole time she's like fidgeting with her nails and kind of like nervously touching her nails, so it like makes sense. He has no sign of anything to do with his nails other than like just saying he collects nails. And then instead of ripping off his nails with his teeth, which makes sense, they just pop off literally magically, like movie magic, they just fall off. And it makes no sense. It was so annoying to me because I was like, the original scene is so good and makes so much sense and is so like toe curling bad where you're like, that's so uncomfortable. And I can imagine that. Whereas that scene was just so boring. You make such fun scenes boring. And that's what I hate. They make like Midari, who's like the crazy psychopath character with the one eye, a way more boring version of herself. And her character is just like way more snooze fest. Everything about the show is boring. The president's boring. The fucking vice president's boring. Like, everyone is just boring. Yumiko is boring. And she actually has some interesting aspects. Like, she's the only character that has something going on where, like, you're kind of interested in, like, the mystery around her family and what's going on with that. Because there's, like, kind of an ongoing, like, it's kind of, like, set out to be this murder mystery. But it's not enough interest because Yumiko herself just does not have enough interesting going on. She's just kind of boring.
Yeah. I think you were expecting too much from, I think, a Netflix original.
Netflix originals can be fucking good. They hit sometimes, dude. Netflix originals hit sometimes.
Was bad.
Voltron. I'm trying to. You liked Voltron. You're a
I
Voltron
liked Voltron.
Guy.
We could discuss Voltron for a second.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Pride Month. Happy queer bait, guys. Let's talk about queer baiting in Voltron, actually, since it's Pride Month. So Voltron was only good for like the first 2 seasons. Season 3 is where it kind of started falling off, and then when they got to season 8, it was like, you know that picture of the horse where it's like drawn really good, and then the segments get worse.
Yeah.
Season 8 was on fire. The paper was on fire. The drawing of the horse was burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
Because, like, I liked the formula they had of them going to a planet, liberating them, and, like, I get that you need to stop doing the formula at some point, but the way that they stopped doing the base formula of going to a planet, discovering something, and defeating the Galra, the way that they went about stopping doing it was just stop doing it altogether and not, let's keep liberating planets, and let's just go focus on Keith, who fucked off and left Voltron.
Okay.
And also, let's focus on like what it was stupid, I think.
Okay.
I think they really dropped the ball on it, but the problem was with Voltron, the problem was queer baiting. They had the people on their toes. Because okay, so Voltron existed in the 80s, let me tell you.
Okay.
Voltron existed in the 80s.
I didn't know this.
Voltron Legendary Defense, the Netflix original was a reboot of the show. It was a rewrite of Voltron from the 80s. And people shipped Lance and Keith before this. Like, back then, too.
Okay.
So, when Voltron Legendary Defender came out and everybody started shipping Lance and Keith again, it got a little bad to the point where people were sending cupcakes filled with glass to the writers of the show.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been part of why the writing got so shit, is because they didn't want to work on a show where the fans were threatening them. Totally understandable, by the way. But then at the end, they realized, oh shit, we queer baited our fans so hard that we need an out.
Mm-hmm.
because we've realized that now we have promised something that we're not delivering on, because guess what? Lance is in love with Alora, the girl,
Mm-hmm.
and not Keith, so we can't just switch it around and make him in love with Keith suddenly. So what they
Hashtag
did was they made
bisexuality visibility.
that's happy bi visibility, guys. Shout out Lance McLean from Voltron.
Hashtag enjoy the 16 days you get, because after June 16, you're done, bitch. You are fucking cut off.
Damn.
Oh, I
Okay.
have no. My issue with bisexuals could have its own episode. I've got a firm stance. Firm stance on bisexuals.
Damn. Um, but basically, what they did was they made Shiro gay. They made him have an ex-boyfriend. They made his ex-boyfriend get killed in a stupid accident caused by some guy who I don't remember the name of.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made Shiro get married to the guy that made the stupid mistake that killed Shiro's ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Which the fans did not take too well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's last minute, like, we need to have a gay person.
It's a last minute, we need a gay person. Here's 2 scenes of Shiro being gay after we kind of straight baited him the entire show. We kind of made him straight the entire show.
I kind of actually realized 2 of my topics kind of have to do with Pride, now that I'm looking at them without
it's Pride
intentionally
Month.
doing Pride. Yeah, I know. I'm hitting it off, really.
You're kidding.
And apparently I gave you a Voltron topic, so...
Yeah, I'm done now with Voltron.
So my next Pride-related topic is Hunter Schafer as Zelda, which has been the discourse of the year. And this one's really funny to me, because all of a sudden, we don't care about movie accuracy, when not 2 minutes ago, all we gave a fuck about was movie accuracy. So I dare to ask, what are we looking for here? And don't say, and I mean this, don't say you're looking for movie accuracy and also all these stupid other little stupid boxes that you're making up. You're just transphobic and misogynist. And we can just say that. And I think that's what we need to start just admitting. And you know what? It would be a lot better if these people would at least just say that. But I find it so ridiculous that we keep having this conversation in a circle over and over and over again about how all of these people keep talking in this circle, being like, but it has to meet this criteria. It has to meet this criteria. This is what it has to meet. This is what it means to be movie accurate, or like perfect accuracy, da-da-da-da. But then when we give you something and we give you something that you want, you somehow manage to make it like not okay anymore and not something that you want anymore because it doesn't fit another new type of criteria. And realistically, all we're being is homophobic, transphobic, and misogynistic. Realistically, just say it. Just say it at least. Stop being a pussy. Where are my real men? Where are the real fucking men at? That's my question. Where are the real fucking men at who just can say I hate women?
Honestly, just say it, brother. I think that she looks exactly like Zelda. Like,
Perfect.
I think she's like the best person that you could put on the screen to play Zelda.
Perfect! To every last T! To probably her coochie. I bet she got it sculpted off of Zelda. Trust and believe.
She said, Nintendo, I need you to send that shit over to me so I can.
She said 3D print, let's go! Send it over! She's got the money for it. Trust and believe. So, in other gay news, Patti LuPone is blacklisted from the Tonys.
Because of what the
And
Broadway
me and Brooke
thing?
famously have talked about this already. So it's really funny that I'm bringing this to podcast, because we already talked about it. But now I fear I'm biting my words, because I told Brooke I would ride by Patti LuPone no matter what. And I do still stand by.
So what happened?
I will ride by Patti LuPone. I do love that woman. And I do think this is kind of an unfortunate circumstance where her persona kind of comes back to bite her in the ass.
Oh my god, persona.
Because
oh my god.
If you don't know, Patti LuPone is a bitch, and she's always been a bitch, and that's kind of her whole aesthetic. She's this old, like, veteran Broadway star who's bitchy, and that's her whole thing. But she can be bitchy because she's a star, she's done her time, she's put in her work. She is the quintessential, like, if a man did it, they would call him a boss, but because a woman does it, she's a bitch. She's very much putting that energy out. Very much Taylor Swifting it, if you will. Like, if I were a man, no one else would say anything about it. No one have an issue with it. Mm-hmm. However, there have been some statements And mainly what makes me concerned is apparently there are 500 Broadway actors that have come out and want her
Yeah,
to not.
that's
I
yeah.
didn't know it was 500. That's a
I
large
said, did you
number.
not look at the
I
post that I
told you
sent
I didn't
you?
read it. I told you I didn't read it. I did not realize it was
Wow,
500
I'm
people
hated.
who were gonna be mad at Patti LuPone for her potentially racist and misogynistic remarks. And I only say potential, not to put shadow doubt on it, only because I have not seen the remarks. So I will put allegedly in asterisks that I believe these people and I trust these people and I think they are telling the truth and I do not doubt them. However, I have not seen them myself, so I am not going to indoctrinate myself in anything. But to have 500 people accusing you of something to me tells me something's got to be up here. Something's got to be true here. And that maybe Patti LuPone, for her own sake, should sit out this Tonys, whether she gets banned or not.
Damn.
And I love Patti LuPone. I still do love her to this day. I love her. She is my queen, but I fear Patty. You're making us Patti LuPone fans look really fucking bad right now. Me and Joe Locke look really fucking bad right now in this moment.
Me and Joe locked in.
And then my final thing before we get into music, don't
Okay.
do that. Never
Oh,
again.
I'm sorry.
Never
I thought I was
again.
being funny. Sorry.
How dare you? My final thing, which I can't believe I haven't talked about yet because I need to have talked about this. There's a new Hunger Games movie in book.
Yes.
And I keep sending Brooke Hunger Games TikTok. Brooke has not seen the Hunger Games movie and hates me for it, but I will send her all of the sad edits that I get.
Let's explain.
Brooke also
why
hates the Hunger Games, and I think everyone should hate Brooke for hating the Hunger Games. And that's my hot take.
I've never liked the Hunger Games is the fact that as a younger sister, I fear that when I was growing up, I could never, in my brain, if my brother liked something, I couldn't like it. And he was a big Hunger Games fan. So I've never seen the Hunger Games.
Because it's impeccable.
On principle. Because I had to stand on principle of not liking the same things he did.
You stood on business, but what if the business was wrong?
Business.
But what if the business was wrong?
The business hasn't affected my life in
What
any
if the
way,
business was Amazon? You're standing on Amazon? That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Fucked up of
But
you.
if the business is me not using Amazon, is that not a good thing?
No, you are Amazon in this situation. You're standing on business.
Oh,
You are
okay.
Amazon. You are the big bad corporation.
Can't believe Amazon has never seen the Hunger Games.
I would wager you Jeff Bezos has never seen the Hunger Games. I bet you that movie strikes fear in that man's heart.
Oh, absolutely.
He
a revolution?
Yeah, he's like, no, not me. So anyway, that's all I had. I'm very excited for the Hunger Games movie. We will talk about it when it comes out. I will probably most likely read the book, but I do have to read all the books before I read that one, so that's going to take some time.
Like every
single one. I have not read a single Hunger Games book.
Well, I know the Ballad of Songbirds. No, that one's out already. Sunrise on the Reaping is the movie coming out. That's the movie.
That's the one that's coming out. So I'll probably see the movie before I read the book.
There's a new book past that.
Same book. No, same book. Same book. They just they had a deal that when the book came out a year later, the movie would come out.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I wonder who they got to play young Haymitch.
They announced it. I forget who.
I think they should have just put the original guy.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Skateboard.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you do, fellow kids?
So on to our music of the week. Which mine is pretty expected. Conan Gray had a new release, which has sent me back into the Conan Gray cycle, as it always does. So I have 3 Conan Gray songs that have really been back and forth coming on to the playlist and really making their mark. One is called The Story. I've been really getting into The Story again.
Mm-hmm.
Used to love this song. And then I'm into his new single, This Song. Love it. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Love seeing Conan happy for once. That's a win. Which, speaking of which, happy Conan vibes has brought me into Never Ending Song is my third song, my third and final song. Big into Happy Conan right now. Big into Happy Conan.
I've been big into Sad Conan.
Oh, what are your Conan tops right now?
I do this song, great, love it. Mm-hmm. I can't stop listening to The Cut That Always Bleeds.
You are a big The Cut That Always Bleeds girl.
Famously, I'm a big The Cut That Always Bleeds girl. Famously. And
then for my final song for Just My Music of the Week, but we do have a new segment which we will have at the beginning / end of every month, probably beginning of every month, which will be my music recap of the month because Apple lets me do a music recap of the month. So you'll get to figure out what I've been listening to for the entire month, and you'll get numbers and statistics. So if you're a nerd for that and you're curious, you get all that. But for my last song of the week, I have Malcolm Todd's Bleed Again. It was just on this list 2 weeks ago. But what can I say? I'm a sucker for Malcolm Todd. And actually, that's going to be proven to be very true, because if I open my Apple Music right now, my top artist of the month of May was Malcolm Todd himself. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
With a total of 2,472 minutes streamed.
Do you like ever stop listening to music? Like, are you
No,
ever
I
just
have it.
sitting
I
there in
have
dead
it.
silence?
I have it run. I have it run when I'm not listening sometimes because I'll forget to turn it
yeah.
off. So Malcolm Todd was at that. Beyonce was my second most listened to at 1,640 minutes. SZA, love SZA to death, but SZA actually tends to not make it into my top 5. But I'm actually really happy to see her in my top 5 for once because I love SZA. SZA made it at the number 3 spot at 1,593. Conan Gray made it at 1,186, and then Billie Eilish is our 5th and final spot at 1,082 minutes. That's my top artist of the week.
You can't. All
My
of
top
those
5.
minutes for Billie Eilish are just Billie Eilish Blue.
It is. Then we have my top
All those minutes.
songs. My top songs of the week is Scorsese Baby Daddy, which is a SZA song that was on my last.
Not Socrates Baby Daddy. Let's
Not
make that
Socrates
clear.
Baby. Now that song I played apparently 227 times this month. The next song I have on this list is Bleed by Malcolm Todd, which we just mentioned not 2 seconds ago. I played that song apparently 212 times this month. After that, we have Lafe, Lavier, Lavwe, whatever the fuck, however you pronounce her name. We have Tough Luck by her. That's at 173 plays this month. Then we have Love Me Not by Raven Lene at 124 plays this month. And then we have Chest Pain. That's the I love. That song was my number 5 by Malcolm Todd at 123 plays this month. And then finally, we have our top albums. My top albums of the month are Malcolm Todd, obviously. 2,026 minutes played of Malcolm Todd's album, Malcolm Todd, self-titled. A Matter of Time by Lafayette is 147 minutes at my second spot. The Sinners soundtrack from the hit movie Sinners was my number 3 with 47 minutes played total. Lola Young's new album, or new single, sorry, which is considered an album, One Thing, was played a total of 6 minutes, I suppose, before the monthly count cut off. And then we have Wishbone was my 5th and final one. So Wishbone is already making it into top 5. And that's my monthly listens.
Yeah. Would you like to hear my Spotify recap of last year?
We can, yeah, sure.
I only have Spotify,
or
so we can't
do you want to
do?
Do you want to do both of our recaps for last year next up?
Oh my god! Wait. Okay. Do you want to do my YouTube recap from the last season then?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that
I don't know
instead.
if I can get it. I don't know. Wait. I don't know if I can do it anymore. Oh, I can't do it anymore.
Oof.
Okay,
Well,
I do remember.
We'll do
remember
Spotify. We'll do Spotify and full. We'll do the yearly recaps next app. We'll do yearly recaps for both of us.
Okay.
Because we have reached our hour quota.
Oh, how sad.
So I don't like going too far over the hour.
But she hates me. Famously.
That's true. Famously. As if we
Famously,
don't
she
go
can only
into.
stand me for an hour.
Yeah,
as famously as if we don't play Repo for 5
I was gonna say,
million.
as if you don't drag me into Repo right after the fact. Blood and guts spilling out of my stomach.
We played Repo until 11:30 p.m. last night.
And we enjoyed every last second of it.
And we did enjoy it.
Well, either way, I have been Enigma Czar. I am your Crashout Queen, along with Brooke, my co-host and fellow Crashout Queen.
Yippee!
And goodbye!
Bye!